Avengers: Age of Ultron is the sequel to the Avengers and the 5th movie in Phase 2 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, this movie was one of the most anticipated films of the whole year last year because it's a sequel to the Avengers. Who's not looking forward to that? But at the same time, it has you going in there wondering how, in fact, they're going to top what the Avengers was, because to some people, the first Avengers is the best superhero movie ever made. So how exactly did it fare? So the movie opens up in Sokovia, and we see all the Avengers together in this really huge, big, awesome action scene. They're raiding the Hydra outpost that we saw in the mid-credit scene from Winter Soldier. The gang knows that Loki's scepter is there. They know that Hydra has been using it to run these experiments, and now they want to get it back. Now, when it comes to this action scene and a lot of action scenes in this movie itself, I think they do a really good job with them. I mean, they're exciting, they're fun, they're entertaining, they're funny when they need to be. But at the same time, you watch a lot of the action scenes in the movie and you're just like, I have seen this all before. And that was one of the issues in the fact that they had to follow up to the Avengers, because part of what made the Avengers such an awesome movie is the fact that it happened. You have all of these superheroes from different Marvel movies coming together to fight for a same cause. That was thought to be impossible at one point. So when you see it happen in the first Avengers movie for the first time ever, not only is it awesome, but it's special. So when you see it happening again in this movie, it leaves you sitting there like, yeah, this is awesome, but I've seen it before. So anyways, the mission goes on. The Avengers are kicking ass like they always do. But then the fight starts winding down. You see the Hulk, he's still raging out like he does. But then Black Widow comes along and she's actually able to calm him down a little bit, which gets you thinking, oh, maybe there's a little bit of an interest going on between the two of them. So I guess that means we're just completely forgetting about Betty from the Incredible Hulk. Yeah, alright then. So everything works out. Stark is able to get the scepter. They're able to get back to their headquarters, but Stark has other intentions with this scepter. Stark and Banner, they analyze the power that's in this thing, and they believe that this could be the key to creating Stark's ultimate project, Ultron. Tony's goal is to use this Ultron artificial intelligence, place it into his Iron Legion, and from there make them strong enough and smart enough to defend the Earth on their own. Because Tony knows the Earth will always be in peril, but the Avengers, they won't always be around to do this. They can't do this for the rest of their life, and at some point they want to retire. And now that Tony has this scepter and he's able to harness into the power that it has, he feels he can actually make this possible. However, out of nowhere, Ultron all of a sudden comes online on his own. He has a little conversation with Jarvis, and Ultron comes to the conclusion on his own that he has to eradicate the human race in order to officially save the world, and with that he just overwhelms Jarvis. In the meantime, the Avengers, they're all just chilling out. They're having this big party for themselves. It even comes to a point where they all see if anyone can pick up Thor's hammer. Funniest part, though, is when you see Captain America go to do it and the hammer moves just slightly, Thor just freaks out in his eyes. He's like, oh, did that almost just happen? Cap's not able to do it, though, so Thor has nothing to worry about. However, what they all soon have to worry about is they see Ultron come out. He's in this sort of really damaged Iron Man body for himself. Ultron uses a couple of these Iron Man drones to attack the Avengers with. The Avengers are able to destroy these drones and also destroy Ultron. But unfortunately, all they did was destroy the armor that he was a part of, because unfortunately, because Ultron is artificial intelligence, he can just transport himself into another body, which was great for the movie right here, because now it leaves you sitting there. It's like, how the hell are they going to beat this guy? Ultron eventually goes to the Hydra base in Sokovia. He's able to use the resources there to create a new body for himself and also his own army, where he's eventually able to recruit the two Maximoff twins, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. And these two have a serious grudge against the Avengers, and that's because when they were 10 years old, some of Stark's weaponry destroyed their house, which resulted in their parents dying. And since then, they have made it their mission to exact their revenge on the Avengers, and that's why they volunteered for these experiments. And it was through these experiments that Quicksilver developed the power of super speed, and Scarlet Witch developed these mind powers. Ultron promises them revenge upon the Avengers, and that the three of them will make the world better. So the first part of their plan is this trio goes to this arms dealer played by Andy Serkis, because this guy can supply them with the most powerful metal on Earth that also makes Cap's shield, vibranium. The Avengers are able to track down Ultron, and now we get to see Ultron and the twins take on the Avengers. And this throwdown is really cool, not just because we get to see what Ultron is capable of doing in his upgraded body, but also what the twins are capable of. I mean, Quicksilver's just moving way too fast for anyone to really do anything to him, which makes him a threat. But Scarlet Witch is able to use her mind powers to get the heroes to see some really scary visions. For Black Widow, she sees the past that she went through, which led to her becoming the assassin that she is. And Thor's having this vision of some weird shit going on in Asgard, which I've heard is what leads into Thor Ragnarok later. Best part, though, is Scarlet Scarlet Witch tries to do the mind control thing to Hawkeye, but he just turns around and hits her in the head with an arrow, which stuns her. Because he's just all like, yeah, I've done the whole mind control thing. I'm not a fan. But this becomes way more of an issue when Scarlet Witch does the whole mind control thing to Bruce Banner. This causes him to turn into the Hulk. He just goes into the city on a massive rampage. Iron Man knows he has to stop him, and with that, he goes into the city with the Hulkbuster armor. And the fight between them is really awesome and exciting and funny. But the fight also causes a lot of damage to the city, and by the time the Hulk calms down, he and Iron Man realize they gotta get the hell out of there. And because of that whole situation, the Avengers now know they have to go into hiding. Hawkeye, however, is able to get the group to a safe house where we discover that Hawkeye is in fact married with 2 kids and also a 3rd one on the way, which I thought was great for Hawkeye because you see in this movie what he really fights for. He's not just fighting for the Earth, but he has a family that he's trying to protect. I feel like it makes us as the audience get behind his character a lot more, which is awesome. And at the same time, Banner and Romanoff, they have more of a conversation with each other, and Banner tries to tell Romanoff that there's really no future with him. I mean, what can he really do? He can't really settle down. He can't have a life with a family. But we soon find out that Romanoff can't either, because at the end of her assassin training, they sterilized her so she couldn't have children. It's one of these surprisingly strong emotional moments that when I saw it for the first time, I was just like, oh my god, I'm straight up tearing up here. I was not expecting that with this movie, so that was great. And then eventually Nick Fury shows up to the safe house. He has a little conversation with the Avengers. He tells them that the world needs them and they need to stop Ultron. Now speaking of Ultron, he has officially confronted the Avengers doctor, Helen Cho, and he uses a scepter to mind control her into using this sort of tissue rebuilding technology that she's developed, to combine that with the power of the scepter and also the vibranium to create Ultron a perfected body for himself. At this moment, Ultron starts uploading his consciousness into this body, where now Scarlet Witch can read his mind. And it's at this point she and Quicksilver discover what Ultron's true intention is. He wants to destroy the world. Luckily, before Ultron can officially upload himself into this body, the Avengers show up. Their goal is to get the body from Ultron. And now that the twins have seen what Ultron's true intentions are, they decide to join the Avengers. The Avengers are able to capture the body. They take it back to their headquarters, but not before Romanoff is captured by Ultron. The Avengers have now all regrouped, and now Tony's new plan is to take Jarvis, who was in fact still operational despite what happened to him, and upload Jarvis into the synthetic body that Ultron was creating for himself. And of course the Avengers are completely divided on this. They're trying to think, no, that's a terrible idea. It'll only create another Ultron that we have to deal with. But Thor eventually shows up and he uses the lightning in his hammer to activate the body. Because while everyone was at the safe house, Thor had left to regroup with Eric Selvig. Thor wanted to learn a little bit more about the visions he was having when he was under the mind control thing from Scarlet Witch. So with that, he and Selvig, they go into this little pool thing in a cave somewhere. But apparently for Thor, as he enters this pool, he understands more of his vision a little bit more, and he sees images of the Infinity Stones. And he finds out that one of these stones, the Mind Stone, was in Loki's scepter. And knowing the Mind Stone is probably safer as part of somebody, Thor goes along with this plan, and Vision is born. And the best way to describe Vision is he is essentially a lot like what Gandalf the White was to Saruman in Lord of the Rings. You know how Gandalf the White was essentially Saruman as he should have been? Well, Vision is essentially Ultron as he should have been. And you see how true and pure Vision is in this moment, because he goes on to say, I don't want to kill Ultron, but Ultron threatens to destroy this world, and as a result, we have to destroy him. But everyone officially believes Vision when he turns to Thor and he says, we have work to do, and just picks up Thor's hammer and hands it to him. The look on everyone's face is just priceless. They're all just like, I just died laughing in the theater when that happened for the first time. It was awesome. But now back in Sokovia, Black Widow now sees what Ultron plans to do. And that is to take the remaining vibranium that he has, place it into the core of the capital city of Sokovia, and then have it slam down onto the Earth, which will reformat it into basically complete metal and destroy the human race. The Hulk is able to free Black Widow, and now the Avengers all group together for this showdown. But what I love most about this final act is how high the stakes are. The Avengers cannot let Ultron win, because if they do, the human race is gone. It's destroyed. There's nothing left of it. It'll be gone forever. The city has already started to float in the air, and the Avengers know they gotta stop it before it can crash down. And now we get just a really awesome fight between the Avengers and Ultron and his army. and it's just fantastic. It's great seeing the Avengers fight together again. It's really cool seeing what the new members like Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, and Vision can bring to it, and also the intensity in the fact that they have to stop Ultron from activating this machine. But what I continue to love seeing with Hawkeye is at one point Scarlet Witch, she's getting a little too overwhelmed from the battle. She goes into this warehouse to hide, and Hawkeye, he comes in and he's all like, the city's under attack. We're fighting a bunch of robots. I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense. But I'm going back out there. And if you go back out there, you are an Avenger. It's a great moment with Hawkeye, and eventually Scarlet Witch does come out and she just starts wrecking a bunch of Ultron drones. But the Avengers still have another problem in the fact that they have to get everyone that is a part of this city off of it. The Avengers aren't sure if they're going to be able to do it, but Captain America, he stands up and he says, no, we're not leaving anybody on this rock. It's just why Captain America is awesome. And eventually reinforcements show up with Nick Fury coming in, piloting a new helicarrier. He sends in a bunch of these hovercrafts to eventually get the people off of the city. War Machine also even shows up to help the Avengers combat against the drones. It even seems like it's becoming a bit too much for Ultron, and eventually he steals the Avengers jet to try to see if he can take them out with it. At one point, he tries to go after Hawkeye, who was trying to save this little kid after he got separated from his family. Ultron just opened fires on the two of them, and it looks like they're both toast. However, soon enough, Hawkeye finds himself and the kid behind this car protecting them, only to look over and see that Quicksilver just has bullet holes all through him, and eventually he just falls and dies. So yes, Quicksilver did die, but he died a motherfucking hero. This of course just causes Scarlet Witch to just go in complete rage, and she just annihilates so many of the drones into nothing. Hulk eventually takes Ultron, he throws him out of the jet, and from there Scarlet Witch uses her power to basically rip out his heart spark thing. So eventually they're able to get all the civilians off of the city, but they also know they need to stop this city from coming crashing down. One of the drones is able to activate the machine. It's coming down full force onto the earth. Luckily, Thor and Stark, they're able to use both of their powers to overload the machine, and the city is destroyed before it can impact the earth. So everything finally looks like it's all well and good, but Hulk ultimately decides to leave in the jet rather than rejoining the group because he doesn't want to endanger Black Widow by being with her. However, there is still one Ultron drone left. This is the last one. Vision confronts him, and now we get to see both sides of the coin just talk to each other, which is awesome. Ultron goes on to say how the human race, they're all doomed, and Vision points out, yes they are, but he also says it's a privilege to be among them, because he points out, how is something beautiful if it lasts forever? Ultron's just getting more and more upset with him. He eventually just looks at Vision and he's just like, you're unbearably naive. And what I love is Vision thinks for a minute and then he just goes, well, I was born yesterday. And then Vision just fires his forehead cannon at the last Ultron drone, and Ultron is finally defeated. So with all that over, Hawkeye has returned to be with his family. Thor has gone back to Asgard. Stark has also left. So with that, Captain America and Black Widow, they decide to stick around to train the new Avengers. This consists of War Machine, Falcon, Vision, and Scarlet Witch. However, the movie's not quite over yet. We soon see this golden gauntlet. Thanos shows up, he puts on the gauntlet, and he just says, fine, I'll do it myself. It does make you wonder, though, what's eventually going to happen to Vision, because it leaves you thinking. You imagine that Thanos is going to collect all the Infinity Stones. Makes me wonder if Vision's going to die along the way. Who knows? So all in all, I think Avengers Age of Ultron is an awesome movie. The Avengers, they just all have great chemistry together. It's great seeing the team back together again. Ultron was an awesome villain for this movie. James Spader did such a great job playing him. He was really smart, he was methodical, he was funny. He definitely made for one of the more memorable villains in the entire MCU, which I thought was just awesome for it. The new additions to the team were awesome. I mean, Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, Vision, they were all great to see. They were very welcomed additions to this franchise. The action scenes are really exciting and entertaining as hell. The visual effects are great. However, at the same time, this movie does suffer from having some unoriginality to it because, like I said, you see the Avengers fighting among each other, and it is cool, but it has been done before. And at the same time, I will say this movie did feel like it was trying to help build setup for other Marvel movies like Thor Ragnarok. But in the end, although I do not think this movie is as good as the Avengers, I still think it's a great movie for this franchise. And there it is. I've done it. I have made a spoiler for every movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I know some of you are probably going to be quick to say, what about Ant-Man? Ant-Man was actually one of the first movies I did a spoiler for. You can find that in my playlist for 2015 movie spoilers. And yeah, I guess you're right. I haven't done a video for every movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe because we still have Captain America Civil War. It is so close to being here, guys. I am so pumped for it. I've heard nothing but awesome things about it. I will have a spoiler for that uploaded hopefully by the beginning of next week, so make sure you see it this weekend. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to talk about it with you guys. I'm so excited. But for now, that's all I gotta say. So guys, thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you all next time.